Hey guys, it's Jaxie, and today we're going to be looking at the new ride command that has been added in the 23W03A snapshot. What this command allows you to do is to mount onto any sort of mob and ride it, as well as mount other mobs on top of other mobs so you can get sort of like mob towers. Okay, let's get right into it. So the base of this command is /ride. Now, there are multiple ways you can do this. There's lots of parameters, but we're going to start with using UUIDs. Now, I can mount any of these mobs by doing /ride, space my name, then mount. Then while looking at the mob, I'm going to tab to where I get the UUID, and you can see it's right here of the cow. Now, if I hit enter here, you can see I mount onto this cow right like that. Now, I can't actually control this cow because I've got no way of doing that, but I can sort of just sit around here and wander with the cow. Now, I can press shift to dismount from this mob, just like if I was on a horse or in a boat. Now, you can also mount two separate mobs. So if I do /ride and then get the UUID of this cow, and then look at this pig, do mount, and then get the UUID of the pig, and press enter, you can see the cow is now mounted onto the pig. Now that cow is mounted onto the pig because we put the cow UUID first, then mount, and then the pig UUID. And then we can easily dismount this by looking at the cow, doing ride, then the cow UUID, then dismount. And that will dismount the cow. Now that is a basic bit of this command. Now we've got some important things to note when using these sort of UUIDs. So using the UUID is really useful for finding a specific mob. Say if I had a bunch of cows in here and I only wanted a certain cow to ride this pig, I could do that easily. Or for example with sheep, if I only wanted a certain sheep, say the blue sheep that I had in a pen of multiple colors of sheep, that could ride the pig. But if you're just looking for a more general way of locating mobs, there is other parameters you can use to do that. So let's have a look at that now. Now, to use the command to search an area for the mob to mount, we're going to start off the same with /ride. Then we're going to type in @e square bracket type equals. Now this type is going to be the Minecraft mob that we want. So let's start off with Minecraft pig, :pig. Then we're going to put a comma and make limit equal 1. Now this limit has to equal 1 for this command to work. Then a comma, then distance equals .10. Now this can be whatever you want. It can be .5, .4. We're actually going to make it a bit smaller because if we do .10, this distance is going to go over to the other pen on the other side. So we're going to make this distance a bit smaller. Now another thing to note with this distance command is that if you do 1.4, it isn't going to search for a pig in the radius of 1 block. And then after that, it's going to search until the radius of 4. So we can do something like that, and we're going to then end it with a square bracket. Now there are more parameters you can do by adding more commas, like game mode if you're doing this with players rather than animals. So you can feel free to go ahead and mess around with those. Then we're going to do mount, and we're going to do the exact same command. We're going to do @e type equals Minecraft. Instead of pig though, here we're going to do cow. And then we're going to do limit equals 1. The limit has to be 1, like I said before, equals 1.4. Then we're going to end the square bracket and press enter. Now it's saying no entity was found there because the pigs, we've got the 1 limiter on the space. So if I stand back a little bit further, you can see it finds it and works. Now the reason why it said no entity found there originally is because we have this 1 here. This 1 stopped it from finding all the mobs that were right next to me, and all the mobs for some reason were huddling around me. Where when I stood back and allowed that area to be empty and the mobs be in the zone that it is searching, it found it pretty easily. Now, when mounting in a similar area, you can get this error code here. Pig is already riding cow. Now, the reason why you get this is because the game is searching for the mobs in this area here, say in this fenced area, and it is finding this here, and it's going, oh, the pig is already riding the cow. It's not actually locating these two specific mobs. So that's where a smaller either area that it searches in, so the distance, a smaller distance, or using the specific UUIDs can help. Now you can stack these mobs however high you want. So if I did want to stack, let's kill off these 2 mobs here and spawn in a different mob just to make it a bit easier for ourselves. If I spawned in, let's go with a chicken here. We're going to go with the farm animals. And I wanted to stack this chicken onto this pig. We could very easily do that by coming over here, putting a chicken over here instead of the pig in this command, and then putting a pig over here. And now if we press enter, we've got a 3 high stack. Then of course, using the dismount commands, you can dismount all of these. So that is the basis of how to use this command, but let's talk about some interesting sort of mechanics that you get with this command. The first thing I want to look at is how it mounts it. Now it must do it in a rather organic way, because if I were to mount this pillager here onto this untamed horse, it doesn't sort of place it on the horse in a weird way. It actually places it in the rider's seat. So if I were to do this command here, you see the pillager sits down and then gets bucked off. Now it gets kicked off like that because the horse is not tamed. Where if I were to tame this horse quickly, just like that, and then run that command exactly the same, you can see the villager will not be kicked off, and he now has a trusty steed. Now one thing I'm going to test out now is how a pig works with a carrot on a stick, because if you're riding a pig with a saddle, we all know, if you're sitting on it with a carrot on a stick, it goes whichever way you're going. So you can sort of ride a pig like this. But does that work with a mount command, because you don't actually have the saddle to work with here? So let's have a look. Let's mount onto this pig. Get that UUID, press enter. Now we can see here the carrot on a stick doesn't actually work here because the saddle is not existent. So the pig is just sort of looking at the carrot, realizing it's as close as he's going to get because it's directly on top of him, and then not being able to walk forward. Where with the pig here, you can see we can very, very easily walk forward. Now, mounting on hostile mobs gets very interesting because certain mobs can attack you and certain mobs can't. From my testing, a mob like a phantom can attack you and will actually fly straight up. So I'm currently riding this phantom here. Now, if I were to change my game mode into survival, you can see in a second here, it'll start driving straight up and attacking me. Now, it's going to do very little damage, but you can see it's just going to go straight up until I die or get launched off for whatever reason. And I could actually imagine this being used somehow to lift players up without using any sort of potion effects. Just a thought. But then you have mobs like an Enderman, which can get angered while you're looking, by looking at them while you're riding. So you can look down at the Enderman's eyes and it'll anger them, but they won't be able to actually attack you. So if I get an Enderman here and type in and spawn him in, and then type in my command to get onto this Enderman, he doesn't run away. There we go. And then I go into survival. I can anger him. Keep in mind, I can't actually punch him, but I can just look at his eyes. But he can't do damage to me. Now, sadly, this phantom can do damage to me. But I'm now riding this Enderman, but he can't do damage to me. Now, when the Enderman does teleport around, I will be following with him. So I won't get booted off. But I'm relatively safe until I hop off, and then it's fair game for the Enderman. Then you can have mob combinations like a creeper and a cat, because if you don't know, creepers are scared of cats in Minecraft. So if you were to ride, then do @E type equals Minecraft cat, and then mount this onto the creeper, you can sort of begin to picture what is going to happen. But let's do it anyway and have a look at this. So as soon as I hit enter on this, the creeper is on top of the cat, and the creeper is now perpetually scared. Now the creeper still can blow up if you get close to it in survival, but the creeper is now just constantly running around with a cat on its head, which I can't work out whether I find this funny or sad, because the poor creeper is just so scared. Now the same goes for a zombie and villager. The villager will run around, but here, the zombie can actually do damage to the villager. So if I do that again, you can see the zombie can reach down and actually kill it. Now, certain mobs can do this while others can't. I just find it very weird how it varies. Now, another thing that I have struggled with is riding mobs that are underwater. I think it may be a bug, but when riding something like a dolphin or even, say some cod, I seem to be kicked off. Or not even kicked off. The game thinks I've mounted properly and says that I've mounted, but I haven't actually mounted. It's very strange. Alright, now this command, the ride command, also allows you to ride mobs, well, entities that aren't mobs, for example, arrows and snowballs. So let's start off with a simple command here, which is summoning a Minecraft arrow with a little bit of motion, not that much motion, and no gravity. Now the no gravity just means it's going to go on forever. So if we were to do this and then run that with a mount command that is going to mount me onto this arrow and press this button, you can see I am riding along at a decent speed and I'm mounted onto this arrow. Now this is a great way to add motion for any sort of Minecraft map, or even just to have a bit of fun with some redstone creations. Now, like I said before, this works with snowballs and any sort of entity. So would it even work with fireballs? So let's change this to snowballs. And if I do this again and go like this, oh, I broke the snowball that time because I was standing in front of it. You can see I'm actually going at a decent pace and I'm not going to stop ever. Now you can see my test subjects up here when I was testing this. Now I'm never going to stop riding this, but eventually my snowball is going to come to a halt because it has run out of velocity. So right now I'm slowly making my way downtown. Faces change and I'm homebound. No. Anyway, but yes, so this is a great command and it can be used for so many different things. So I really suggest you guys hop onto your Minecraft snapshot world and give it a shot, because you can do lots and lots with this. And I can't wait to see some fun redstone maps and creations that are made out of this, and even some mini games. So on that note, that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave a like, comment, and remember to subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys later. And remember, stay carbonated.